we're here in Jacksonville, Florida, because we got invited onto this great festival, and you know, GODSMACK was taking a break for a little while, but we decided it was time to get back to work and get out here and just start, you know, firing up the monster again. So we're really happy to be out here, and to see as many people still attending shows is a nice thing too.
Okay. Speaking of attending shows, you know, the economy had a big hit, major hit, not only for you know, the working comic guys like you and me, and or people out there. Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys can accommodate with the economy and go along with the economy, because there's a lot of people you guys got to pay. You got to pay the record label, of course. You got to pay your road crew. You got to pay the venue and all this stuff. Just tell me a little bit how you guys adapt to the economy.
Well, you know, it's been tricky, man, because, you know, album after album, GODSMACK we've always done fairly well, but the economy has crashed around us during these times as well. And it's been tough. It's been tough to tour. It's been tough to sell records. I mean, back in the day, my God, I remember not too long ago, I think NSYNC had the #1 record. It was like 2.5 million in 1 week they sold, which is some kind of crazy record. But now, #1 record, I think, is around 40,000 units. So, you know, with this whole digital era that we're getting into, in the internet and all that stuff, it's really making the record labels think about how they're going to actually sell a physical CD tomorrow. They're going to be obsolete in another minute, just like vinyl records or 8-tracks were, you know. But I think there's an upswing happening, and that's a good sign that people are starting to attend the shows again, the live shows and all that. I think they're getting sick of sitting in their bedrooms and watching everything on YouTube. So, you know, listen, there's no question it's a very powerful entity, the internet, the most powerful thing in the world right now, probably. But there's nothing like a live experience. And so with the economy or no economy, you know, times are tough, but I think people still try to scrape up to come to have that live experience.
We're talking about off camera. Can you tell me a little bit about the project that you're doing now to bring the fans back from, like you said, from behind a laptop or behind the iPads, looking up stuff on the internet, on YouTube about your performance? Can you tell me a little bit about your new project to bring the fans back, to get them in a brick and mortar arena or stadium?
Yeah, well, I do have a new solo record I just released. It's Sully Erna. The name of the record is Avalon, and we actually just landed a contract with Palladia TV. It's going to start airing May 16th at 10 p.m. and they're going to run it for a while, whatever. And it's a whole, you know, documentary on the making of this record. But more importantly, it's funny you ask that. Talk about driving people back into a live context. This whole record is really how music used to be back in the days when, like, Pink Floyd did Dark Side of the Moon or whatever. We've created this vibe. It's not a rock record. It's very eclectic. It's very earthly and tribal, very primitive. It's all done with hand drumming, pianos, cellos. And it's more like a world music. And because of the cinematic kind of vibe it throws off, it lends itself to a really beautiful, like, theatrical production. So it's almost imperative that you see this thing live, because even the record is one of those records where you could sit and put it on from front to back and really go through a very emotional musical experience, because it's a very visual record. So, of course, you know, if people are more interested, they can go to SullyErna.com and it'll give them all the information there. But yeah, you know, I think it's things like that we need to bring people back to the music. And for a while it was about pyro and who could jump higher off the drum riser and all that stuff. And really, man, if it's a good song, that's going to drive people in. And so that's what we need to start focusing on, is not these cookie cutter versions of pop songs and all that stuff, but really getting people back into how important music is to all of us. And that's the theme behind the whole solo project as well, is to reintroduce people to this gift of music, because it's a beautiful thing, you know? It nurtures us through our bad times, it helps us through our good times, and I think people underestimate how powerful music really is.
Speaking of your projects and everything, you also did some stuff with WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Uh, you provided the music for SummerSlam. I believe it's called. You provided music for SummerSlam. You also provided music for many other pay-per-view events, not only pay-per-view events. They even use your music for WrestleMania. So can you tell me a little bit about that, and that also bringing you new fans, because wrestling fans also can go across from wrestling fans to rock fans and your fans. I mean, 'cause that's how I discovered you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you know, see, the simple fact is with Godsmack, because we've chose to play a more harder, aggressive kind of music, it's not, you know, it's not as heavy as like a Slipknot, but it's not as light as an Aerosmith. It's like right in the middle there. But it's an energy music, and because of that, it's always done really well with extreme kind of sports. So whether it's the, you know, WWE or the UFC, you know, they took our first single off the latest record, The Oracle. It was a track called Crying Like a Bitch. and we actually cut a whole video to it. People could YouTube that and actually see that there is a whole, all the best knockouts are in this video. It's pretty cool. The NFL, you know, baseball players, we've had, you know, certain big celebrity, you know, Red Sox people and stuff like that come out to I Stand Alone or whatever it is. So, and motocross, I mean, it's just always, Godsmack and extreme sports energy has always gone really well together. So.
Also, you done movies with the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
I Stand Alone with The Rock was in it.
Yeah. Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino. I just did a movie with the solo record called Solomon Kane that's coming out soon, and I just wrote a track that's featured on The Expendables with Sylvester Stallone, which was our first single called Sinner's Prayer on the solo record. And of course Godsmack as well has had a history of soundtracks and stuff. And you know, again, a lot of the times it's just the connection, and that's what I was saying, where music is, you know, it's an amazing entity. It's things that I don't think people really understand how powerful it is. And because there's an emotional value connected to it, it's why, try to watch one of your best movies. Watch Gladiator or anything you want to watch without a soundtrack. It's a whole different movie. It's like there's no emotion in it. It's those little things, even if it's a violin playing in the background, man. Music enhances everything. It's the soundtrack to our lives.
Behind the scenes of it, can you tell me a little bit about the road schedule, the in and outs, the red eyes, the tour on the bus? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's you know, it's a hard way to make an easy living. It's a hard way to make an easy living. It's a lot of work, you know. People see the 1-2 hours that we're on stage and they're like, oh, what a great lifestyle they have, man. You know, girls everywhere, and it's not that, man. You know, maybe when you're 18, 20, it's that. But when you've been in this game for 15, 20 years, man, it's one of those things that, you know, it's tough to be on a bus with 4 other guys and constantly sleeping in, you know, hotels and planes and trains and buses and bunks and whatever it is else that, you know, your lack of sleep, you're exhausted, you know. But I have no complaints because I love what I do so much, and we all love what we do so much that it's worth the pain you have to put into it as well. And well, I think what people need to understand is every job has their great days and their bad days, and it's no different in rock and roll. There's 23 other hours in the day that they don't see us on stage, that we're designing a light show or editing a video or mixing an album or writing a song or doing interviews or traveling and being away from our loved ones and children and families. It's a lot of time. I mean, I remember the first year the first album we came out with, when it blew up, I don't remember seeing my bed for almost 3.5 years. It was a long time because the better the band did, the more demand there was around the world and it's 4 guys trying to touch the world. So it takes a long time to get from the States to Europe and do Europe and then get to Australia or Japan or Canada. It's a lot of work, you know. So again, not complaining. To me, it's the greatest job in the world because I really am passionate about what I do. If I hated this and I made $1 million a day doing it, it would be different. It would be that constant struggle of like, oh, I make such great money, but I hate what I do. But to me, I'd rather make less money and love what I do than make millions of dollars and hate my job.
So basically, the bottom line, whatever profession you pick, like I picked this profession as a photojournalist, as a news cameraman, some people call us. You got to love it. You can't just do it just for the money or the glory. You got to love it, because if not, it's gonna burn you out real quick.
That's right. That's right, because the better you get at it, the more demand there will be for you. And then all of a sudden you find out real quick it's a job. It's definitely a job. And this out here, this is a business. It's a multi-million-dollar business, which is all that much more of a responsibility, because you can't let yourself down, but more importantly, now you have fans, millions of fans that you don't want to let down. And so, but you also have to know when to draw the line and give yourself the personal time as well, because it can't always be work. And that's the downfall I think we've all had at times. You know, I've lost family and friends and different people that I cared about in my life over time, just due to the fact that you have to make that decision at times, you know, when it's work and when it's personal. So it's challenging, but the only way you learn how to do it is through experience. And it just takes years of that to really get a grip on how to roll out here and how to split your time equally.
Final question, since today is Mother's Day, you talk about family, and it just gets me emotional too, because I'm missing my mom at home, and
Yeah.
And I want to be with her this Mother's Day, but I had seen her card, and I seen her some money in the mail along with the card. Can you tell me about family and your family? Because I saw your family, I think 9 or 10 years ago on MTV Cribs,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, happy Mother's Day to everybody. In case this comes out late, if it's late, then a late happy Mother's Day. But I have 3 moms to say happy Mother's Day to today, and I called them all already. I have my mom, my biological mother, and then I have my when my dad remarried. He married this beautiful lady from Central America, and so I had to call her and wish her a happy Mother's Day, because she's been in my life since I was about 4 or 5 years old. And then obviously the mother of my child. But again, it's tough. Days like this, you kind of want to be home and share a special moment with them, and we're out working, and it's not the first time. We've seen this movie many times, where we've spent many Thanksgivings at TGI Fridays, and many Easters and Halloweens and Christmases and stuff like that out. But again, it's what we do, and it's what we choose to do, and it's a little bit better now, because in the early days, we had to be out. You had to keep that momentum up so you didn't lose it, and people didn't jump onto the next bandwagon or whatever. You kind of had to sink your feet in the cement and go for it, and that took years of dedication and loyalty on the road to do that. And along the way, family and friends had suffered because of our distance from them. But now we're in a much better place. The band has 12, 15 years under our belt, and we're able to kind of control our schedules a little bit better, so we can split our time equally. But we all love our families very much. We miss our children, that's for sure. And I'd much rather be home coloring in a coloring book with my daughter than doing this. But this also pays the bills to put her in a great school and things like that. So it's risk versus reward, I guess.
Right. Anything else you like to add that I forgot to ask, or anything else you like to promote or whatever?
Well, as far as the schedule goes this year, man, we're looking forward to seeing everybody out on the road. We're definitely going to be busy. I have the solo thing that's going to run May 13th through mid-June. And again, SullyErna.com, you can get all the tour dates and all that. And then GODSMACK's going to run again July, August with Mayhem, which is with Disturbed and Megadeth and Machine Head. So that'll be a really fun tour. And then I'll probably wrap up the year doing some more solo stuff from Midwest through the West Coast and that. And then I'm sure we'll be entertaining thoughts of international, and on it goes. And
the road never ends.
That's it, man. The road never ends.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You got it, man. My pleasure. Thank you.